Jonah's secret apprentice early morning in Nineveh. The sun rises over the sprawling city of Nineveh. Merchants open their stalls, camels clop along dusty streets, and the call of temple bells echoes in the distance. Everyone knew the story of Jonah, the prophet who fled from God, who was swallowed by a great fish, and who finally brought the people of Nineveh to repentance. But few knew that Jonah had a secret, a pupil, and that pupil would witness lessons no one else could see. Alley near the river. A young boy, Eliab, 12 years old, crouches behind a stack of clay jars, peeking at a man kneeling by the river. Eliab, whispering to himself, "That must be Jonah, the man they say spoke to God himself." Jonah dips his hands into the river, murmuring prayers, his eyes closed, lips moving silently. Suddenly he stands, lifts his arms to the sky, and a gust of wind sweeps across the water, creating ripples that glow faintly golden. Eliab, awed, I have to follow him." From that day, Eliab begins shadowing Jonah, careful not to be seen. He observes Jonah praying, speaking with merchants, and even confronting corrupt officials with words that carry a strange weight, as if God himself guides them. The first lesson, night falls. Jonah sits by a fire outside the city walls, eating a simple meal. Eliab finally steps into the light. "Eliab, Master, I want to learn from you." Jonah's eyes narrow, then soften. He gestures for Eliab to sit. "Jonah, learning from God's prophet isn't about following me blindly. It's about listening. Listening when the world is noisy and even when you feel afraid." Eliab, curious, "But how do I listen? I don't hear anything." Jonah tosses a pebble into the fire. It glows briefly, then disappears. "Jonah, not all messages come as words. Some come as signs, as feelings, or as events you can't explain. God speaks in mysterious ways, and sometimes his lessons are dangerous." The sea creature. Several days later, Jonah and Eliab journey toward the riverbanks outside Nineveh. A storm brews suddenly, waves crashing violently. Jonah steps forward without fear. Eliab, shivering, "Master, what is happening?" A massive, shadowy creature rises from the river, its eyes glowing like molten gold. Eliab gasps, frozen with terror. Jonah, calmly, "This is the creature God spoke of. It is not here to harm us, but to teach us. Watch closely." Jonah begins to speak in low tones, and the creature responds with a sound that seems almost like words. Eliab watches in awe, realizing Jonah's prayers are a conversation with the divine itself, bridging human and creation. Eliab, whispering, I've never seen anything like this." Jonah, smiling faintly, "And most never will. That is why you are here." The secret mission. Jonah teaches Eliab how to interpret signs, winds, storms, the behavior of animals. One day, Jonah points to a dying fig tree. "Jonah, this tree is not yet lost. It mirrors a man I met in the city, a man who has hardened his heart. Observe, and you will learn to see the soul's struggles reflected in the world around you." Eliab studies the tree for hours, feeling its pain, understanding the connection between life, sin, and mercy. Slowly, he begins to see the invisible threads of God's plan woven into everything. The test of faith. A famine strikes the outskirts of Nineveh. People beg Jonah to pray for rain. Eliab watches Jonah step into the city square alone and begin a powerful prayer. Clouds gather, lightning splits the sky, but the people run in fear. Eliab, "Master, they'll turn on you." Faith is never safe, courage is never easy. God's work is not for the faint of heart. You must decide if you follow him, and if you will stand when others flee. Eliab steps forward, raising his hands to pray alongside Jonah. Rain begins to fall, not just quenching the land, but bringing hope to the desperate people. The city witnesses a miracle, and Eliab realizes he is no longer just a shadow. He is a disciple, learning to listen, act, and trust. Jonah and Eliab sit by the river at sunset. "Master, I understand now, it's not just about seeing miracles. It's about faith, courage, and listening for God, even when it's silent. You've learned well, my apprentice, and someday you will teach others, quietly, faithfully, as I have taught you."